been an out-and-out talent on that World of Outlaws tour in recent times. So keep an eye, watch this space, so to speak, for Carson Macedo coming forward.
Since he got here to the East Coast, he's been absolutely electric in that J&S Drilling John McClellan-owned W60. He was very impressive at Tolma. He looked speedy again last night. He was quick at Avalon. There's nowhere that Carson Macedo is not quick. He could very well win the Classic.
And let's not forget, too, Carson Macedo was out of the Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic after he sustained an injury just a few days after he got to Australia. And Millsy and I talked to him about that in the pre-race show, and he said he learned a lot from just spinning the spanners on Cole Macedo's car, of course, with Sean Dyson last year. So I think Carson's got that in his back pocket this year, too. He's always a contender when he comes out to the East Coast, as you mentioned, Wade. But with that little bit of extra insight, I think Carson could be super, super tough. You look at Avalon, he was on the podium last night, a top 10 run at Mount Gambier. It hasn't taken him and the J&S racing team to gel, or I should say it hasn't taken very much time for that pairing to gel, so he could be tough here tonight at Sun Gold Stadium.
The Macedo brothers have been impressive. There's no doubt about that. This morning I caught up with Tim Hutchins along with Donna Mackerel at the breakfast. They are internet sensations at the moment. He doesn't look like Eminem. I'm not sure what he was really looking like. Looked a little bit more like Fabio, I think, with a long mustache, but the dedication and the commitment that you see from Tim Hutchins and Donna Mackerel and Millsy, you've been across their career for such a long, long time, and they actually paid tribute to Jock Goodyear. They wanted to talk more about what he's doing for Tasmania than what they are, but how about the commitment from that pair?
Yeah, absolutely crazy, isn't it? What we don't realise, Wade, is still based in Tasmania, flying backwards and forwards to each and every night of SRA competition here in Victoria or to all the big shows around the country. And we saw him make the show there a couple of years ago, and it'd be good to see a return to form, I think, by their own admission and certainly by their own social media content. They've been struggling a little bit of late, and Tim's been the butt of their jokes, but I think deep down inside, both Donna and Tim would like to see that team really flourish here this weekend.
We just saw a ripping shot of Parker Scott then. Gee, I'm excited for this young man. Driving that Prestige Truck Sales, Morrison Construction, Scott Motorsport car has just been a revelation. And how good was he the other night at Avalon, sitting on the front row and leading the President's Cup for many laps.
He did a fantastic job that night, Wade, and he made the feature last night at Mount Gambier, which to the average race fan may not seem like that big of an accomplishment, but you got to take a scope of who all is here. We got drivers from the World of Outlaws. We got PA Posse drivers. We got drivers from the West Coast, the East Coast here in Australia. So for him to have those two fantastic runs, I know he was hoping for a lot more at Avalon, but Parker Scott, for not racing a sprint car nearly as much as a lot of the field has, the Mount Gambier 19-year-old, yes, 19 years old, and he's racing against the world's best, and he's holding his own. And there's Marcus Dumsney. Of course, that family, Wade, as you know, has a lot of history, a lot of success, not only in this race, but this part of the world as well. He'll be carrying our onboard camera, courtesy of Clay Preview this evening.
Pitted right next to Parker Scott, Drake, and Grant Stansfield. And David Mills, put it out there. Grant Stansfield is a smoky on any night. I'm not going to suggest he's going to win the Classic. I don't think he's ready to do that yet. But what I will say, he will be up and about in that O Diesel 88, the Abtec car. We know he qualifies well, Millsy, and for someone who really hasn't been in performance equipment in his career, he's doing a hell of a job.
Absolutely, Wade. But did we think Corey McCullough was ready to win his?
Absolutely.
Did we think Brock Hallett was ready to win his? Well, you just never know. That's why we're here. It's why we'll turn them all loose in qualifying very shortly. But the performance of Grant Stansfield, night in, night out, he does punch above his weight. There is no doubt about that. A lot of sponsors on the car, but all just nearly family and friends. Everyone helping him get out on the racetrack pretty much, and he does a great job. A great student of it too, Wade. The technical side of things certainly does an outstanding job for what he's got, and looking forward to seeing him tonight. Not only tonight, but I'd really like to see him with a strong result come Sunday night, potentially an A main start.
Not far from us at the moment is Scott Boguski, who'll be heading off very soon on his World of Outlaws rookie season with the Three Stooges racing team. And he's standing with his brother-in-law, Brendan Guerin, who had an unfortunate end. He's always speedy, but no luck last night. They drilled the wall hard in the number 96 Century Batteries entry. There's another guy I think can really get up and rip with a comparatively smaller budget.
I think you're absolutely right, Wade. And talking to Scott Boguski earlier today, I thought for sure that car was totaled. According to him, the team hasn't found any damage on the frame of that race car, so he's ready to rip tonight. Scott also mentioned to me in a few days' time, as you mentioned, Wade, headed back to the great state of Indiana, Brownsburg to be precise, where the Three Stooges racing team is based out of, to give it a go for his inaugural season with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. Things are ready to rip. Look at that. And reminder, this is only Friday night of the Classic. It's only going to get bigger here at Sun Gold Stadium Premier Speedway. Put that under the list of things you'll love to see.
Draco, we made mention of it on the pre-race show over on the backstretch a little bit earlier on this afternoon, that if you're here tonight with just a night 1 ticket and you're yet to get your tickets for night 3, or if you're tuned in on Clay-Per-View planning to be here Sunday night and you're yet to jump on premierspeedway.com.au to get your night 3 ticket, we can't recommend enough you do so to avoid any potential disappointment. When we see the crowd numbers already in the house for the early stages on a Friday night at Sun Gold Stadium, Premier Speedway, Warrnambool, it all points towards the potential lockout system here on Sunday night. So if you've got a prepaid ticket, that's the only way to guarantee your way into the venue on Sunday night.
He'll spend 2026 with Three Stooges. He might as well make up the 3 right now with Drake and I. Scott Boguski, we're very impressed with Brendan Guerin, mate. There's guys that you wish, like you, who could get a big ride. I would love to see him in a good hot rod.
Yeah, absolutely. Besides, doing working away, and we struggled the last few nights, but change some things today, and we'll go again until we can keep doing it, keep digging.
So not too much damage from last night with the car?
Really no. Flat tire, knocked the front end out, killed a top wing, but as far as a lot of work, it wasn't terrible today. Car's still straight, so we're up and we'll go again tonight. All
right, good luck to you, Scott. I love seeing you get around it. I love seeing him go well.
Thank you.
Scott Boguski, brother-in-law of Brendan Guerin. Look on screen, there's the Century Batteries car right there on screen. Let's take a look at that Eagle. Always fast around this place. Had a really tough start to the season, but he seems to have found his feet. I spoke to him last night. Millsy, he's in a lot more positive frame of mind. Feels like he's starting to really get the speed back in that 52.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly turned things around with thanks to McLeod Toyota and Specialised Tyre Repairs and Wowler Earthworks. That team were down on confidence only probably 2 to 3 weeks ago, and they changed everything bar the chassis, I believe, and they've certainly found some car speed, as you rightly pointed out, Wade, and he knows his way around here. I really think he's a good competitor. There's no doubt about Matt Eagle, and another to watch this weekend. And I think what we're getting at here, guys, is the fact that if you sit down right now and go, these are the 24 guys I think will make the A-main on Sunday night, the guy next to you will have a completely different lineup. And there's going to be some quality cars miss the feature come feature time on Sunday night.
What a great shot that was of Mount Mac. It's incredible. You kind of got to look at how the pathway... What is that? It's one of those emojis at the top of the laneway. There's a hot dog, and there's something that looks like a bad hot dog afterwards. Up there's a banana. I think it's a banana.
Welcome to the Classic is all I can say. Welcome to the Classic, and that's one of my favorite parts of this event, Wade. We talk about things that make this race special. The people, for starters. There you go. There you see all the race fans in their long chairs. The running of the bulls, they call it here at Sun Gold Stadium when they open the gates. And boy, it is a stampede, log jam, whatever you want to call it. Mad dash is another word I've heard to describe it, to make sure everybody gets their favorite spots. And check out the suites again we have for 2026. That was a new addition last year, and it was really cool to see it built back up here for 2026. So hello to everybody over on Mount Max enjoying a beautiful Warrnambool afternoon.
David Mills, I know we have lots of awards, lots of incentives to get through tonight. Take us through just some.
Absolutely, Wade. Overall quick time this weekend receives a time-honoured Alan Pollard Memorial Award, so fastest qualifier over the 2 nights of competition tonight. That sponsor is a PWR Advanced Cooling Technologies, a prize of $1,500 cash. The fastest overall qualifier in each of the preliminary nights, so tonight will receive $1,000 as well, and then they go into have the opportunity to be the Alan Pollard Memorial. Also, the Classic Rookie this weekend with the team at Sprintcar Trading Cards. The highest placed Classic Rookie receives a $750 bonus. The R&M Security, always excited for this one. The R&M Security Best Presented Car and Crew, $2,500 on offer for the Best Presented Car and Crew this weekend, with thanks to Natalie and her team at R&M Security, always on the ball here at Sun Gold Stadium, and their support of that event has continued for many, many years. The Premier Speedway Maintenance Committee also right behind that one. The Daniel Trucking hard charger of the Classic in the A main. A cool $2,000 as well up for grabs. The TRG, Tomo's Race Graphics Hard Luck Award. Obviously, if someone's going to go home a little disappointed, but they'll have an extra $250 in their pocket with thanks to Tomo's Race Graphics and the Ian Shepherd Memorial. Been around for a number of years as well, this award, guys. It's awarded to the driver with who earns the most accumulated points, basically, over the 3 events contested this week. These include the President's Cup at Avalon Raceway, the King's Challenge at Mount Gambier, which we saw last night, and of course this weekend's Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic. So that carries some prize money along with the prestige of being on that award. We must thank the Flying Horse Bar and Brewery for their support of this weekend. We can't do this without them, and some exciting initiatives to come throughout the course of the weekend. Our platinum partners this weekend, VG Cabinets, Dirtex Industries, The Standard, Allison Morrison Excavations and TNC Plaster. And our supporting supporters this weekend are PWR, KRE Race Engines, R&M Security, Elevate Race Bodies, who will bring all of our replays on the big screen throughout the course of the weekend, and Daniel Trucking. All those sponsors will be up in the corporate marquee, I believe, this weekend, so a big shout out to all of them. And we must also thank the Midfield Group for their ongoing support of the Track Championship here at SunGold Stadium, Premier Speedway, Warrnambool. Rounds 5, 6 and 7, if you don't mind, to be completed this weekend across all 3 days. So keep an eye on that. And that Track Championship with the Midfield Group is supported by Warrnambool Trailers. So we thank all those supporters tonight, along with SunGold Milk with 20 years of partnership here at Premier Speedway. Jeff Cook and the team at the Tyre Factory here in Warrnambool as well for their Restart Cone sponsorship. The Warrnambool Standard, the coverage of this event is second to none anywhere in the Speedway world. You don't see Speedway stories of the calibre we get through the support of the Standard. They're the naming rights partners of the marquee. And 12 Apostles Helicopters, without letting too many cats out of the bag, Wade, 12 Apostles Helicopters are a big part of the show this weekend as well, and we thank them for their ongoing support.
Not just the Great Ocean Road, but there might be some Great Ocean Speedway. David Murcott standing over the top, looking around this place. Come on, it's got to still give you chills.
Oh, yeah, I do get itchy feet this time of year.
What an event, mate. Just when you look around the venue, you just realise that this place is going to be full. Maybe tomorrow, definitely Sunday. Something special about an event that's been running for 53 years.
Yeah, that's what we're all here for this time of year.
David Murcott, wonderful to have him here, multiple Australian champion. Let's have a look at your first group of hot lap cars. Dave Dennison, the Riviera Concrete RC15, Will Carroll. You got Justin Whittle, Murky keeping a close eye on the Duke. He wouldn't be happy with the media coverage. He likes to stay under the radar. Duke is his quickest at the moment, but you can forget that. I gotta say, the track looks beautiful. The clay looks very light colored, kind of an unusual hue, but it looks cherry. I remember back when it was a very much darker texture, and there was a lot of conversation about that. Macedo quickest, Whittle second, Sutherland third. We're going to talk about Glenn Sutherland in a minute because we started to see a bit more aggressive Glen 20 on the racetrack. David Mills, the color of the clay, it looks even more light brown than what I've seen it so far this season. It might just be the sunlight on it, but gee, it looks cherry.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, moisture content will change the colours as well. But does look cherry ripe. The first set of hot laps done, and Dustin Carson Macedo quickly up to speed in that W60 car with a 12.311. Glenn Sutherland a 12.475. Justin Whittle will be looking for some good car speed tonight as well, a 12.477. Will Carroll likewise with a 12.822. Jock Goodger a 12.868. Peter Dukas a 12.904, and David Dennison a 13.513 to get our first bracket of hot laps done and dusted. And I think, Wade, will see a couple of rolling laps under yellow here before we set this first group free once again.
There's a lot of super intelligent people in this infield. I'm looking around. I can see Hayden Kendrick just there. Likewise, I just saw Keith Giles. And looking around at crew chiefs, Glenn Beaton just went rolling by as well, helping on the Justin Whittle car. Mouse Green. And you're right, Tricky is all about it with the Giblin family. Holmes, 98V. Whittle, 12.09. We're going to get into the 11s, just as Millsy predicted. Track is looking more and more like a track you can get some data from and some base setup. Whittle out of 4 up behind Denison. Beautiful, beautiful evening for sprint cars.
Wade, I'll chime in there just real quick. Some of these hot lap times are at qualifying speed already, so it's going to be interesting to see if the moisture content, Stevie, chime in here if you feel free. It's going to be interesting to see if it hangs on or if we see a slowing down of times and the guys really having to search around, especially in the second flight of qualifying tonight, because they've still got a hot lap as well. But you see the times there in 11.808. for Carson Masita and Jock Goodyer with 11.885, already in that 11-second range. We're at qualifying speed already.
Yeah, that's the amazing thing about how this track is. It's already fast, as you said, and this is probably the quickest we've seen the track come in all year. So, like you said, by the time that second flight comes out, it could be way up against the fence.
What's the go with the Duke?
They're really unsure. He just said it's not running. They're checking all the simple things, making sure everything's in the right way, making sure it's got spark, every pipe's hot, but still yet to decide what's going on.
Kenny McNamara from KO Engines. Happy New Year to you, Kenny. Welcome to the Classic.
Yeah, thanks, Outways. Pretty lovely weather today.
I don't know how you engine builders walk around looking so relaxed, because these are all under so much pressure. It seems like there's only so much you can control, Kenny.
Yeah, we always get a bit stressed, and these days with the harder tyre compound and stuff, we see a few more little things pop up here and there now, but yeah, it has its days.
It's been complex with mag boxes lately. For some reason, just seems to be a higher incident of mag issues. I'm not sure what there's any reason for that. Maybe we're noticing it more, but there's so many things that can play a part in your night and stress you out.
Well, definitely, especially the ignition these days. You know, they're all moving up 13 amp mags. There's a lot more heat in the generator now, so they get hot in the back of the firewall there, and then they seem to have more ignition issues now. They cost more money and seem to last less.
Good, Kenny.
Thanks, Wade.
It looks very relaxed as the Queenslander. And we're back underway. Drake York, we got Brendan Guerin, Tim Hutchins, Parker Scott, Grant Stansfield, Muggervan out there as well as TJ Stutz, and the buzzard, David Aldersley.
Just as we always expect here at the Classic, everything is hard, including hot laps. Parker Scott immediately rockets to the top at 12.088 for the South Australian. Of course, hails from the world-famous racing town of Mount Gambier, South Australia. Tim Hutchins, the Tasmanian, now the quickest as everybody burns in this racetrack. And you heard Stevie Trigg talk about it just a moment ago. This place is bad fast to start off the night here for night number 1 of the 53rd annual Flying Horse Bar and Brewery Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic. Parker Scott, P1, down to the 11/8-second bracket, Millsy. This racetrack is bad fast.
Yeah, I just keep my eyes and ears wide open out there, boys. I'm going to be intrigued to see how this qualifying period plays out. 11.847 for Parker Scott in that South Australia 55 car. Wade made mention in the pre-show, being in stout form the last 2 nights of competition. Our Smokey in the field, the VA 88 of Grant Stansfield, 11.917. Tim Hutchins, a good car speed there with 11.948. Brendan Guerin at 12.168. TJ Stutz, one of our American visitors here this weekend, at 12.215. Lee Muggervan at 12.472. And David Aldersley at 12.681 in that hot lap session.
And just talking down here with Peter Dukas while he talks to David Murcott, and Kenny Mack comes down just to cast a look over the top of his KRE engine at the moment. And basically, Duke was saying it's just gone fluffy in the last couple of laps. Just didn't feel like it had that crispness on the throttle, and as a result they brought her in to try and solve the problem before it gets any deeper. Justin Whittle down here as well. I've been impressed with him so far. Having Glenn Beaton on the spanners does not suck, let me put it that way. Very impressive operator. Bit of a download between the two of them, and I love the look of this hot rod. The RBH group W21. We'll come back to them to find out more about what they can do. No computer downloads in this sport, guys. Just what the driver tells you or what the crew chief says that he sees, and you try to find something in the middle. Beato's just working on the left rear. Might be spacing that a little bit differently here. I'll grab into Justin real quick. Justin, good to have you here, mate. I've loved watching you race. Welcome to the Classic.
Thank you. It's a great facility to be at, and can't wait to see what we can do tonight.
What are you doing, mate? You changing this, throwing the left rear in a bit tighter, or what are you doing?
I got to change the left rear and see what we can do in time trials.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Good operator out of Vincenttown, New Jersey, Drake.
Next group of hot laps comes up to speed. There's Ryan Newton on your screen, the Q66 for New Trend Quality Homes. And Queensland Business. Behind him, the Queenslander Kai Jansen. West Aussie Caden Manders. The Magnetowing Flipside Energy Drink V10 of Stephen Loader. Daniel Pesca, the 10K 360 winner at Simpson from last week. Andrew Hughes, Dennis Jones, and Marcus Dumsney all wrap up this session. And Dumsney bolts to the top, now down to an 11.694. 6.94 for Marcus Dumsney. Manders and Loader the top three in this very fast and frantic group currently in hot laps, as this should be the last group of hot laps to go out before we go green in flight number 1 of qualifying. And Marcus Dumsney able to lower that mark just a little bit more. Stephen Trigg, I want to bring you on this before we go to qualifying. Down to 11.6 by the end of flight 1 hot laps. If memory serves, it's been a really long time since we've seen an 11.6 in flight 1 hot laps.
Yeah, and the concern for a lot of the teams early on, Glenn Beaton was one of them, saying he was real concerned about how greasy he thought it was going to be. He was ready to talk to the SRA officials and say, hey, if it's slow, we want another go. I'd be concerned if I'm one of the last cars, because it could be slick as a button by then.
The guy that's talking to Glenn Sutherland down here. What do you reckon that guy knows about sprint car racing, particularly in this part of the woods? Phil Johnson, one of the lovable larrikins of the sport. KFC. Baz, you're looking faster. I liked the look at him last night. He was aggressive. It was like his PI 55 last night. I haven't seen him drive like that for a while.
Yeah, no, it was actually really good to see. So we're trying a lot of stuff, just trying to get him comfy, and I think we're getting somewhere now, so which is good. So we'll see how this goes, and yeah, we'll keep chipping away at it.
Last couple of nights, I've really seen him look confident in the car again. That's such a big difference.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, confidence is everything. Everyone says it. So yeah, we'll just keep chipping away at it, like I said, and see how we go.
Good luck to you, mate.
Thank you.
Boy, hasn't Max Guilford had a busy night so far, boys. Did we count up to 4 engine starts before he even got the thing fired properly?
I think this is 5, Wade, and they've been doing this all afternoon. And Stevie, you talked to him, I think, during the 3rd engine start. Do you know what the go is?
Yeah, so unfortunately they had a fire at Tolmer earlier in the week, and it's actually burned a lot of fuel lines, and they've become brittle. So they're sort of finding leak after leak as they keep replacing the hoses, and every time they've gone out, it's a fresh leak, unfortunately.
And we've not seen anything like this mechanically for him in terms of inconsistency. That thing has been a battleship every time it's rolled out onto the racetrack. So we really hope that the Kiwi can start finding some speed. Look at that shot of Mount Max. Everybody looks tremendous up there. The corporate area, wonderful to have all the corporates on top of Mount Max up there as well. Upper Warrnambool. Really cool to have the Barbagallo family. Now, Millsy, you know me pretty well. You know I'm a very proud West Aussie. Growing up as a kid at Claremont Speedway, my hero was always a man they called Mr. Sprintcar, Alf Barbagallo. And the Barbagallo family are here this week. Vince and all the guys, the travelling Barbagallo family. They came to the breakfast this morning. They're here at the Classic for the first time, and you would well remember those rivalries even from the East Coast, from the West, with Noel Bradford and Ray Geneve and Lee Foster and Ron Cricky and Alf Barbagallo and so many. So it's cool to have the name Barbagallo associated with the Classic.
Yeah, Sean Carron involved in bringing them across here this weekend, Wade as well, and part of that W95 team. So a warm welcome to them, essentially. Back to SunGold Stadium, Premier Speedway, Warrnambool. It's been a pleasure to have them as a part of this swing along the east coast of Australia. And President's Cup, King's Challenge, Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic weekend. We do hope they enjoy their time over here. They've been spoiled over in Perth over the Christmas New Year period, but hopefully we can stack up here over the next 3 nights.
We should mention the passing and the memory of the Flying Scotsman, Ross Tulloch, as well, Millsy, who tragically lost his life several years ago on the road trip down here. The Tulloch family, his boys, have continued a very, very strong legacy and a dynasty up in Queensland, with Brody in particular. We always think about the Flying Scotsman this time of the year. The Duke on the racetrack. He'll be the first car to take time tonight. It sounds like they got the problem solved. And on in the racetrack with him is Justin Whittle, the RBH Group W21. So Murcott on the Spanish for the Duke. Glenn Beaton on the Spanish for Whittle. Let's have a look at the first up lap. Dukas 11.532, but Whittle goes quicker, 11.398. And Duke shut it down pretty quick. So problems for Dukas. Whittle, can he improve? He does. 11.227. And we'll keep an eye on what is going on with Peter Dukas.
Next two cars to take qualifying will be the W60, that of Carson Macedo for J&S Drilling. And joining him, the Daniel Trucking. Goodyear Developments, Tasmania number 22 of Jock Goodyear.
What's the go with Macedo?
Off the gas out of 4. No qualifying lap for Carson Macedo. A tragedy for that 60 team. Jock Goodyear on the clock in what is now a solo pass. Goodyear grinds to a halt in Macedo in turn number 1. Goodyear lays down a time that's currently second quick, an 11.346. All sorts of drama. Macedo out of the car. In some sort of discomfort as well, Wade, as we keep an eye on the time. Still good, just second quick behind Justin Whittle, but all eyes on turn number 1 for Carson Macedo.
Is that a driveline issue, maybe?
Judging by
his ankle,
the reluctance to put some weight on that left foot, it seems, Wade, I would think that be the case. And obviously we saw him miss the Classic last year with a serious lower leg injury. So hopefully, Stevie Triggs on the scene there. Hopefully he's A-OK, but unfortunately, no time recorded for Carson Macedo.
Oh, man, let's just hope that Carson's okay. You immediately start to think driveline or universals and things like that. Let's give him some space at the moment to work out what's going on there. Then the Duke, too. I'm not sure that they have that problem sorted. Certainly, Jock Goodyear has some speed in the Daniel Trucking. Goodyear Development's 22, but I see Murky and the team following Dukas at 98.
And for those race fans that don't know, sorry to cut you off there, Millsy, when Wade talks about the driveline or the torque tube, as it's mostly known in sprint car racing, that is what gets power from the engine to the rear end of the race car, and it runs right in between the driver's legs. So if it does, if it does come apart, you know, that's sometimes bad news. And obviously hoping all the best for Carson, and hopefully nothing serious over there. Stephen Trigg.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's actually blown the universal joint to pieces. There's bits of shrapnel all through there, so you can easily see how he's got struck in the foot. But very unusual for a car. Not many nights on this motor. It would have been a fresh uni to have a uni explode like that.
Tough break for Carson, no question about that. And after missing the Classic last year, I think a lot of people had Carson Macedo as one of the favorites to come back and find force here at the Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic. And hopefully, not only Carson's okay, that's obviously what we're hoping for, but if Carson's able to race, hopefully we'll be able to see the W60 back out on the Speedway soon as a temporary pause here in flight number 1 of qualifying for night number 1 of the 53rd Annual Flying Horse Bar and Brewery Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic.
Millsy, I spoke to David Murcott just then. They said they had the head off on the 98. They actually blew a head gasket. Didn't realize until today. So it's been a bit of a rush situation. Let's hope that they can get that thing firing on all cylinders. He's in the front page of the Standard, and massive story as well for those couple of blokes on the flag stand. Now, Millsy, you are very well versed when it comes to Mr. McKeeve and Robbo on the flag stand, celebrating over 4 decades of commitment to that role. I want to see if we can get a shot of our flagman. What an incredible commitment that both those two have in this industry and at this venue. And we thank them very much. Millsy, it wouldn't be Premier Speedway Warrnambool without those two guys on the flag stand right there.
Absolutely not, Wade. Dillinger, both very, very deserving life members of the club and continue to turn up night in, night out and do their job. And I can tell you what, I think it's the car. I think Pat summed it up that the cars have got faster and they've got a little slower over the journey. But certainly they're winging past them there. And it's a job you probably would think it'd be pretty cool. But I imagine it's also got its challenges as well. And a lot of nights they end up looking a different shade of colour by the time they're finished, it's fair to say.
I wouldn't like that job at all. I remember when Justin and Doug Clark came here in 2020, they were stunned by just how close the flag wavers are actually to the racing surface. I'm told we've got to look out for some Daniel Storer signs in the crowd. I got to send a bit of a sneaky. I'm just wondering, oh, there they are in turn 4. Look at that, the bottom of Mount Max, so hold still. See if we can line up together, you three. I'll see if we can get a bit of a shot of it. I did get a bit of a sneaky text about what was going on. They're on the bottom of the Mount Max. Turn to your left. There you go.
That's amazing. You got to love the fandom of winged sprint car racing in Australia. How cool is that? That's why you show up to the Classic. You never know what you're going to see. Mount Max on its own. You never know what you're going to see over there. And I have a feeling, Wade, we've seen costumes. We've seen people's faces over there on signs. My good friends at the 51st state of the United States of America are over there. So It's always a good time as next group rolls out on the Speedway, and a local driver will be the first to bring him out from right here in Warrnambool, Victoria. The T&D Wholesale, Red Lac Inc., Warrnambool Rapid Mix Concrete, Northern Territory 25. This is Will Carroll. And behind him, another driver from the great racing town of Mount Gambier, South Australia. In the Gambier Earth Movers, South Australia, number 20, it's Glenn Sutherland. Lap number 1 getting ready to go on the board for Will Carroll. He goes third fastest at 11.431. Sutherland fourth at 11.527. Here comes Will Carroll around for lap number 2. Carroll down to 11.513. Sutherland, he'll improve all the way to P4. So rather he stays at P4, but lap number 2 just a tick slower for Glenn. 23rd and 4th right now for Carroll and Sutherland.
Next car on the racetrack, you're looking at David Dennison and the buzzard, David Aldersley, in a very distinctive FTW Total Tools car. Beautifully turned out hot rod, the 64. Distinctive, that's for sure. So let's have a look at the first up lap for David Dennison. In a 15, Nadalson's entry. Dennison will go to P6 with a 12.512. 12.512. The buzzard knocks him back. 12.141 for David Aldersley. Dennison can't come back. It's a 12.512. And buzzard, a 12.163 and a 12.141 puts him into position number 6, David Mills.
Next car to push out for qualifying in flight number 1 of the Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic, as presented by the Flying Horse Bar and Brewery, is one of the locals in the field tonight. The V22, that's Lee Muggervan, joining us in qualifying, and also taking time in this group from Sassafras, Tasmania. The Tornado, Tim Hutchins, is on the clock. Hutchins with GBE Maintenance Services, GBE Cranes Compass Powder Coating on board, along with long-time supporters, the Warrnambool Locksmiths, as Muggervan puts his first lap in the books. Good enough to be 6 quick with a 12.094. He's bumped 1 spot, though, by Hutchins, who jumps into 6 with an 11.699. Muggervan looking for improvement. Does he get it? Yes, he does, but stays position 7. Hutchins still locked in with a better time as well on lap number 2, an 11.669 for 6th quick. And 7th currently is Muggervan with a 12.059.
Next pair firing their way onto the Sun Gold Stadium Premier Speedway surface from Liverpool, Pennsylvania, USA, in the Adder Beckert Racing Mountain View Travel Supreme Poultry, New South Wales 55. It's TJ Stutz behind him from Broken Hill, New South Wales, in the 7 Day Spares Racing. Century Batteries, Auto King, South Australia 96. That is Brendan Geary, lap number 1 for Stutz, 6th quick at 11.583, 11.583. Goes 8th fastest on lap number 1, 11.856. Lap number 2 for Stutz, quicker at 11.581 in 6th. Gearin comes across the stripe and he'll improve to P8 at 11.732. Stutz 6th, Gearin 8th.
It's kind of funny watching Justin Whittle. He's riding every lap at the moment because he wants quick time. He's standing there with Glenn Beaton in your Elevate Victory Lane just there. Grant Stansfield from Warrnambool, joined by Mount Gambier's Parker Scott. Could be a couple of surprising laps from this pair. They're both pretty good at this, Stansfield in particular. The lap looked good. It's not just yet. 11.817. It was smooth but not fast. Parker Scott, 6 quick, 11.545. Is this better for him as he winds her up to P8? 11.637. And Scott will stay in position 6, 11.545. Grant Stansfield, 11.637, puts him in position 8.
Third generation sprint car racer Kai Jensen in the Queensland number 12 machine. Dobby's Butchery Diesel Tuning RJM Motorsports entry is out next for qualifying, and joining him in the Victoria 28 for Anti-Iron Hughes plant, it's Andrew Hughes. Next 2 cars to take time here at Sun Gold Stadium. The Flying Horse Bar and Brewery Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic qualifying flight number 1. Well and truly underway, and not without its drama thus far. Jensen drops into 11th quick with 11.918. Hughes is 13th quick with a 12.064. Can Jensen improve? Keep an eye on the clock. He does lap-wise. He's still quicker with 11.778, but still 11th. And Hughes is one spot behind him in 12th with a better lap on lap number 2 and 11.845.
This is a tantalizing duo right here. First to hit the racetrack in this group in the SP Racing ABSS South Australia 27 from Strathalbyn, South Australia. It's Daniel Pesca, winner at Simpson last week. Behind him from Perth, Western Australia, in the Dan Golding Racing QV Dasco Supply W71, it's Caden Manders. Here comes lap number 1 for Daniel Pesca. Pesca goes 8th fast at 11.614. Manders to 3rd at 11.395. Here comes Pesca to the checkered flag. Does he improve? Yes, he does, but he stays in 9th at 11.558. And Caden Manders improves as well. He'll stay down in 3rd. What a run by Caden Manders. Rookie team here at the Classic with Dan Golding, excuse me. Caden Manders currently 3rd.
I want to thank Kiara Support Services as well as O Diesel for grants, doing an excellent job, Grant Stansfield. Hello to Kiara Support Services as we check out the flip side. Stephen Loader and Dennis Jones, the striking new pink color scheme for Stephen Loader. Burnout King, position 15, 11.972. Dennis Jones, 12.092. 12.092. Loader will stay in position 15 unless Jones can knock him out. 11.894. Jones stretches a little harder and stays 17th. 12.071. Millsy, our last pairing.
The new Trent Holmes, Queensland 66 of Ryan Newton. This time last year was coming off a President's Cup victory and finished 16th in the 2025 Classic A Main. He'll be the next car to take time, and joining him in this qualifying group from Nelson, New South Wales, a Rowett Motorsport, Valvoline, Max Wheel, CLV haulage-backed entry of Marcus Dumsney. Watch Newton got. Keep an eye on the clock. He jumps up to 11th quick with an 11.655. That's 11th fastest. Dumsney jumps up to 8th quick with an 11.564 on his opening circulation. Newton looking to improve position 12. He cannot. He remains anchored there in that Queensland 66 car. And Dumsney, with no improvement either, remains 8th quick with an 11.564. So with that, flight number 1 qualifying done and dusted. What about banging your hands together and making some noise for quick time in flight number 1? It's the USA 21 of Justin Whittle. His time at 11.227. Jock Goodyer, good enough for 2nd quick. Caden Manders was 3rd fastest. Will Carroll 4th and Glenn Sutherland rounded out our top 5. And we've got our quick timer down on the infield.
How about this for a rookie run in the Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic? Put your hands together for New Jersey's Justin Whittle. Justin, an amazing run right there. Did you have this in your playbook for night 1 of the Classic in your rookie run?
Absolutely not. We've been kind of struggling. I mean, we've had some speed, but we've definitely been struggling. Oh, man, my guys have been busting their ass, and hopefully we can keep marching forward.
The Classic, it's known for so many things, but particularly it's known for how tough it is. Some of the best competition you've seen on this Aussie Tour, and to go quick time, how special is this moment right here? Have you had a chance to soak it up and enjoy it for a second?
No, I have not. I was definitely expecting for Goodyear to be quicker, and just the competition for this race is just tough.
Once again, your quick time qualifier here on night number 1 of the 53rd annual Flying Horse Barn Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic is Justin Whittle. We'll take a look at his laps.
Elevate Race Bodies bring us all of our action replays. One of the first cars out tonight did a nice job in qualifying. Super smooth, you see there, out of turn number 4. See how high on the racetrack they're already circulating in our opening flight of qualifying here at SunGold Stadium Premier Speedway. Bodes well for some action-packed racing throughout the course of the night, considering we do have two rounds of heats to get through tonight.
Ooh.
And his quick time 11.227.
This is what, Tricky, you were talking about before the Macedo situation.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is nothing against the team at all. This is a parts failure. They were saying it's quite a new U-joint. Where I'm pointing right there, that's where it bolts to the back of the crank. So this bad boy here could have been turning around 8,500 RPM when it's blown to bits. This is there, and the yoke attaches on the other part. But what happens in most teams here, they'll run what they call a ball bag, and it's made out of Kevlar, so it should take a bullet. But unfortunately for Carson Macedo, as it's blown the uni apart, it's blown the ball bag back. So, that sounded bad, but yeah, but unfortunately for him, it hasn't protected him at all.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know which I'd rather take a shot to. That would really have hurt his ankles. No doubt about that. Thank you, Tricky, for...
I think Tricky's just put himself in classic bingo for many, many years to come right there, Wade.
I'm not sure that we're going to have to refer to it too often in that way, Millsy. Boy, what a fantastic day for it. Shiga, Sean Greeley just ripping by. Stop right there. I want to talk to you. He's the crew chief for the Tim Kading N88. That beautifully turned out. Oh, look at that. We got the camera. Here's one we prepared earlier. Shigs, it hasn't been an easy week for you, but he had good speed last night. What happened in the end?
We just track conditions got a little bit hooked up and got heavier and heavier as the race went on. I think we had a right rear shock failure towards the end, and then we got together with another car, ripped the front wing off it, and at that point, it's just, he's just trying to hang on as best as he can. As Tim Kading does, make smart decisions all the time, and just chose to just stop there before we went and wadded it up and made a night real busy for all of us boys putting another car together. So, we regrouped today, turned everything around, checked through motor, steering box, all that sort of stuff, made sure we had no issues, and then here we go, looking to try and put a lap down and get ourselves in a good position.
2026 spec, Tim Kading makes smart decisions.
Oh, he always does, Wade, you know that.
Send him home now. Who is he and what has he done with TK? He was very emotional today, Millsy. We had a great chat with him. He was our final guest at the breakfast this morning, and he brought up his son starting to race and how much he missed him, and the tears welled up in his eyes. That guy that everyone considers the governor of good times wears his heart on his sleeve, Millsy, particularly when it comes to his family.
Absolutely, Wade, as we see cars begin to make their way out for what we hot laps in flight number 2 as presented by Westvic Scaffolding and their qualifying run as well. But you can't have a conversation with TK these days without him mentioning his boy and his family. He adores them and he misses them, and he said, nice short, sharp tour to Australia this summer's been perfect for him. He'll get back, he'll have some quality seat time. And that team's looking like doing some pretty intense racing in the Zero car in the coming season as well.
Last night we saw an engine change for the Brock Hallett Q5. The boys look reasonably relaxed at the moment. Are you reasonably relaxed at the moment considering that engine change?
Yeah, that was last night, so tonight's a new night. See how we go.
And he loves this place, and he got such fond memories, particularly of that part of the racetrack right there.
Yeah, going through 3 and 4 that year was great, but new year, start again.
All right, good luck tonight with you. I'm sure that G will be around here somewhere while wife Wendy and son Laurie are in Finland driving Porsches in the snow. Sean Karen just cruising in. Good to see you here, mate. Thanks for bringing the Barbagallos to the breakfast. You knew that was going to get me in the field, Sean, didn't you?
Mate, absolutely. They're great people. Great to have them here. They don't call him Mr. Sprintcar for nothing.
Always good to have Sean Karen here. And cars preparing for engine starts and then hot laps for Flight 2. And Kerry Madsen, who's got his own section here. We've got a few legends that have written up around this place, including the Gary Brazier area as well, the Trevor Green area. Danny Smith is up there in the Southwest Conveyancing Grandstand. Hello to everybody in the Southwest Conveyancing Grandstand. Good to see you guys up there. You look suitably comfortable. Would Gary Brazier be the Bay 13, Millsy? Is that unfair to suggest that?
I tell you what, it's in good company, and with all due respect, that section over there where you got Brazier, Madsen and Green in there, that's probably Bay 12, 13 and 14 all clambering to get over each other, I would suspect, and Brooke Tatnell trying to keep the peace, probably being chanted at by the other bays in some ways we know would happen at the MCG, but certainly good to see such a good crowd in the house so early, Wade. Just a couple of quick announcements. If you see the sign going around, there is tickets available for kids, for free slushies, of course, here tonight as well. And don't forget, no smoking and vaping in the spectator areas. We ask that you take into consideration those sitting around you. They may not wish to partake in that with you, so please make your way out behind the spectator mounds to indulge in that if you shall need to.
Up in turn 4, enjoying some of the action, Gary and Amanda Stacey and members of the Sprintcar Association of New South Wales. Specs and Amanda, big thanks to you guys with the New South Wales Club for your amazing help at the Power Tour first round at Western Sydney Speedway. Great to have you here at the Classic as we take a look at Troy Hose, one of the busiest men in racing. He's got all sorts of hot rods that you see him in from time to time. No surprise to see Hallett looking racy early. 11.9. Kading. Madsen at 12.1, but they'll come tumbling down. Rusty Hickman back with Crazy Dave. And that session wrapped up.
Quick to see, Wade, how quickly that hot lap session was shortened up. There was virtually green and then yellow pretty well in consecutive laps there. So already interesting to see how high, and I know that we'll get a camera angle from up on top of the tower here, looking down towards turn 4, just how high those right rears are being set to run around SunGold Stadium already, just in hot laps for flight number 2 qualifying tonight.
Yeah, from down at our level, looking straight across from the infield stand, you can clearly see, I wouldn't call it a cushion, I call it a berm. It's already starting to look like a motocross berm. It's got some real character building up already just below that KTM sign and the big Fresher logo up on our scoreboard. You can just see about 3/4 track. It's building up. It's getting you a fair bit of character required to run there at the moment, Drake.
It's getting absolutely hairy in a hurry down in that corner, and it's starting to get slick already through the middle side of the speedway. It's more or less an issue from about the apex of the corner to corner exit too, so those drivers are going to try to navigate around it through 3 and 4, especially to lay down a burner lap here in flight 2 qualifying. Remember, points on the table for qualifying as well this evening for night number 1 of the 53rd Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic, and another all-star group around the speedway. Currently taking a look at Ryan Potts, the Queenslander, down the back straightaway in the Ryan Potts Motorsports entry. Kobe Wright from Musselbrook in New South Wales, along with Scott Enderle, the South Australian. Adam Alexander in the Tasmania 16. Daniel Sayer, who's got a lot of fans and a lot of pictures of his face in the crowd tonight. He's in this group, along with Bobby Daly, a former SRA Sprint Car champion. Alec Tattard all in this group as well, as we turn them loose for another hot lap session here in flight 2. Second out of 3 hot lap sessions. Oh, Ryan Potts into the wall, and he's big time up in the air through 3 and 4. Comes to rest on all 4 wheels. He caught the wall all sorts of wrong in turn number 3. Massive air time before he comes to a halt in turn number 4, and the red is needed. Wow, indeed, Wade Onger.
That height was just mind-blowing. Todd Doyle, his crew chief, standing down here at the moment, along with Jaden Peacock. They both just looked at that and stood there. And Jado, even by your standards, boy, that was, whew, man, that was big.
Oh, yeah, that looked pretty decent.
Yeah, it's a pretty good way of putting it. He's a pretty big, tough fella, I know about that, but wow. Your night just got very busy.
Look where he's gone in, Wade. You look.
Probably be at the bar, to be honest.
You might be right. Millsy, you were saying,
Wade,
but he's crunched the wall back there, hasn't he? Look where he's ended up.
Back. Underneath the Sinclair and Wilson sign there, first contact, and then it's gone in and hasn't elevated until he's got to the KFC sign, and from there it was up in the air. Stevie Trigg, an update on the car. You're telling us things aren't good.
Yeah, Millsy, I think you can see this one from Allensford. It is destroyed, so that is a classic ending crash for Potts.
Oh, man. Just a huge, huge ride. Down with Anthony Frost here at the moment. Nobody likes seeing him get torn up like that, Frosty. You got that look on your face like, ooh, that was big.
Yeah, it was big. Started back here and entering into turn 3 and finished up halfway along there, and it was up pretty high, like a bloody high.
Mate, last night, Marcus Stewart told me I had to call Tate the unofficial mayor of Launceston. Did you care to elaborate on why he would do that?
Marcus is full of it.
He'd probably go well in Tasmania.
No, we don't want him down there, mate. He's a little angry man, so he can stay where he is in Mount Gambier.
Always good to talk with you. Bob, don't you dare go away. I haven't got long left with you. You're going to be heading home soon. Mate, we've seen you out 5 times at least to start that NZ1. What's the go?
Oh, just had some fuel line issues, and then we changed the fuel pump, and we found a little nick in one of the fittings on it. So we finally got it all resolved.
Man, that's like the little things. You could just look and look and look, and you finally found it.
Yes, sir. Ready to go now.
How about the T-shirt? Have you ever had a Sprint Car shirt with a sheep on the back?
No, sir, I have not.
I need to get Luke to show me on his phone if you got an outline of the... Have you got... Oh, you got it on. Well, let's just do it this way. Let's use Luke. Check out this shirt. Look at this. Have you met Max? The 1NZ. Let's just grab the... Look, there's a whole lot going on there. You got the sheep on the back, the roo, and the crocodile. That is a cool shirt. Luke, how many have you got left, mate?
Yeah, so we've got about 100 left, I think. I think with this shirt, we just wanted to do something different for the Classic. I think we've already got a racing shirt with our car on it, and everyone else does a car, so we thought, we'd just try our best to do something different. They're for sale down at the Dumsney's merch van if you want one, or back at our trailer after the races as well.
Don't forget fan appreciation tomorrow.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to heading down there and interacting with all the fans. We've really generated some good support so far on this trip, and we're thankful for everyone who's supporting us and has come down and bought a shirt and is sort of along for the journey with us. It's been amazing.
I met a couple of people that own the rider motor that you guys have from the other night at the Flying Horse. They're kiwi fruit farmers. They weren't geeing me up, right? That's really a thing.
Yeah, no, they are. Jackie and Rowan. I mean, they've been great supporters of Max. Since he first got into sprint cars, we've been using their motors for a few years now, so we can't thank them enough for helping us, rip around the track in the way we do.
What's with the Have You Met Max thing, though?
Yeah, I think just trying to make a bit of a splash as we move through Australia. We've had a few good results, and people are sort of asking, what's the story, who he is, and where's it from. So, we thought we'd just try and get this T-shirt out there, and as a bit of a laugh with sort of Bruce the Croc we've acquired along the way on the trip. So yeah, it's been great fun.
In your wildest dreams, did you expect to go this well? I mean, you haven't got a win yet, and you haven't got as many podiums as you want, but the impact I think you guys have had on Australian sprint car racing, Luke, has been huge.
Yeah, I mean, we have high expectations. Max has high expectations of himself, and as a team, we really wanted to come here and find that first win. But in saying that, we can't be unhappy in how we've gone. Sprint week up first had a lot of strong fields, and we managed a few really good results there, and another podium in Sydney. So I think coming to all these places for the first time can be difficult sometimes. You got 2 laps, and then you got to qualify, and that can sort of make or break your night. So I think we've nailed some, and some have been a little bit more tricky, but yeah, overall I'd say we're happy with how we've gone so far on this trip. Always looking for better, and there's still a chance to get that first win. So hope, fingers crossed. We've still got a couple shows left. Maybe
even an Australian Sprint Car Championship. Boy, that would... Nah. You don't want to have that one, do you?
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
No. Turn around and show us this shirt as I walk away. How cool is that? What a ripping shirt, Millsy. That's one of the more colourful shirt designs we've ever seen here at the Classic.
Something a little different. I think if Fan Appreciation Day with Thanks to the Warrnambool Standard kicks off at 10 a.m, if they've only got 100 left, Wade, I'd say by about 15:15 they might be just signing autographs. That might be all they have left to do, because I'm expecting big numbers there in the morning as well at the Warrnambool Racecourse.
I think if he had matching sheepskin covers, that would go with that ensemble absolutely perfect. Yeah, nah, as they say. Oh, Mark Lyons is standing down here. There's a bunch of people. There's the Pale Ghost from the Limestone Coast, Kirby Hillier. Hilton Rowett's here from LS Sprint Car World these days. And there's a bloke who knows how to get a kid to win a classic. This place will always have special memories for you, Linesy.
I can remember sitting up there and just 81, just tears coming out my eyes. It was just unbelievable.
I said, take me back to that, the first time, because there was a couple of them.
Yeah, there was. The first one was great. The second one just topped it off perfectly, and up there in Hawley's car, and it was just sensational time. And I was there with it and all the way with him, and I drove every bit of this track with him, I think. But he got it, and it was just sensational.
And I'm glad you brought up Hawley, because, boy, he was an incredible investor in our sport, wasn't he? And you guys won a World Series Sprint Cars Championship together, had the Classic win. He really put a huge amount into the sport.
He sure. And you got to give it to him for doing what he done. It was sensational. And he wanted to go back and do it again, but anyway, not to be. So that's the way it goes. And I think everyone enjoyed it at the time. Yeah, there was ups and downs, always is, but we had some great results.
When's your grandson going to race the Classic?
He's only 7.
So 10, 12, 11, maybe 10 years.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, hopefully I'm still around to see it.
I hope you are too, Lyons. Always good to see you, mate.
Good on you, thanks.
Mark Lyons, very proud dad of one of the greats of sprint car racing, Stephen Lyons.
Wade, I'm currently standing on the dummy grid for our final hot lap group. There is not one but 2 teams changing left rear tires, starting off with the T62 of Tate Frost. Now, they told me the main reason they're changing this left rear, sure there was a little bit of healthy lying in there as well, but they told me they're changing the left rear mostly because it's had time to bake in the sun. And Max Guilford in the 1NZ is the other car changing a left rear here on the dummy grid. They told me and we're very honest about it, that they wanted to make a stagger change too. So not one, but two teams specifically changing left rear tires here on the dummy grid. Quite a rare thing to see in sprint car racing, no question about that.
I was just talking with Kerry Madsen here about the throwback suit. It's still current. It's not like a helmet where you have to throw them away, right?
No, but I did check in the rule book to make sure I could still. I didn't think it was that long ago, but like you said, it was 8 years ago, so time flies.
Mate, what an amazing team. When I think back about this, there's so many things I love about this operation. Second in the Knoxville Nationals, Kings Royal win, running at the elite end of American sprint car racing with an Australian team. How cool was that?
The whole experience was fantastic, and just great experience with Bob and Pete Gavranich that whole time, and I can look back on it very fondly. So, but unfortunately that was then, this is now, and Sean's given me a fast race car, and we'll see what we got here. And qualifying in the sun's always tricky, so we'll see what we can do.
There was also an Australian Sprint Car Championship win at Parramatta that was pretty cool as well, where you and Ian went after it.
Yeah, we went 1-2. So that, to run 1-2 in an Australian Championship with your brother is pretty special.
Good luck to you, Kerry.
Thanks.
Always cool to have Kerry Madsen here. Have we got any Kerry Madsen fans here in Warrnambool? I love that suit.
Wade, while we do have just a quick second, probably an opportune time just to enlighten everyone a little bit on the point structure, of course, coming into tonight's opening night of the Flying Horse Bar and Brewery Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic here at SunGold Stadium. 200 points on offer for your fastest qualifier. So Justin Whittle already with 200 points in the bank. 198, 196, 194. So down in 2-point increments all the way down the field. So anyone 21st in qualifying, 160 points in their qualifying groups tonight. Then in the heat races, it's 200 points to get a win as well. But they drop 8-point increments. So 192, 184, 176, and so on through the heat races. Then we get into our mains a little bit later on tonight. There's points on offer for them as well. Obviously, the first 4 positions in our C main and B main are wiped because you are transferring to the race post that. But from there on, 204 points for missing the transfer in the B main, a lowly 140 points if you miss the transfer in the C main, but 300 points on offer to tonight's preliminary feature race winner, and of course the top 4 drivers in that feature event later on tonight lock in to the A main on Sunday night.
And Millsy, back in the day at this event, we didn't have flights, right?
Hell no.
We just had you timed against the entire field, and what we just saw then with Ryan Potts, that changed the track surface quite dramatically, I would think, in this warm sunshine. So back in the day, there would have been teams howling, going, hang on, this track is going to be dramatically different. If I'm timing in an 80th car up against someone in position 5, it's going to be dramatically different. Not like that anymore.
Certainly not, as we go back to Green Kobe right at the top of the speed charts currently at 12.117. Sayer and Adder, your top 3 as they come across the start-finish line to see the checkered flag. And we talked about the top 4 being locked in. That's the big race we're going to be watching for tonight in the feature event. But the thing I take away from the format this year, if you win tonight, you are on the front row. Not only on the front row, you're actually in pole position for Sunday night's feature event. Second in tonight's feature event will line up on the inside of row number 2. Third in tonight's feature event will line up to the inside of row number 3. And your 4th and final lock-in car will start on the inside of row number 4 on Sunday evening, as there is an engine change currently going on with the W60 of Carson Macedo's team. So they definitely have their work cut out for them already back in the pit area.
And I'm down here at the moment with a guy that's the original, the OG of the Matt Simmons 70 car, Johnny V. Good to see you, Johnny.
Yeah, how you going? It's good to be here. Great.
This time of the year, mate, you used to get pretty excited. You were that little team that could fly under the radar and give these big dogs a bit of a drama.
Yeah, well, we've had some pretty good runs at the Classic, and we're here again, so hopefully Matty can get going, get up on the wheel.
Good luck to you, mate. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Triggy, we'll see if we can dial in with you right now with the 60 in the pits.
Yeah, if you've got a copy down here, guys, you want to see a never quit attitude. Here it is on the 60 car. They've got the motor out, the motor plate out. Out comes the rear end. They are replacing everything bar the steering box and the front end. This is a mighty effort.
Hot laps underway for our next group. Max Guilford out there in that NZ1. Joining him, the West Aussie hotshot Callum Williamson. The Avalon Group back, Mobile 1 entry, making his way onto the front straight away. Brett Hobson in the NS96 in this one as well. Matty Simmons. Tate Frost in the Doolan's Heavy Haulage number 62. Did catch Maxi Coldridge from Doolan's Heavy Haulage wandering through the merchandise area a little bit earlier on today. Matt Eagle was in that group as well. Tate Frost fastest in the group with a 12.344. Correction on that. Matt Eagle of 12.150. Max Guilford a 12.209. Callum Williamson a 12.224. Tate Frost a 12.344. Matty Simmons a 13.053. Brett Hobson a 13.281. And Eddie Lumber a 13.351.
So that will do it for hot laps here in flight number 2 of qualifying for the 53rd running of the Flying Horse Bar and Brewery Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic. Flight number 2 ready to go as Peter Dukas makes his way to the infield in the Warrnambool Locksmiths Giblin Family Homes V98. Remember, had issues in flight number 1 of qualifying. As a matter of fact, had issues going back to hot laps. We'll see if he can get the Duke an engine start maybe before we go with flight number 2. But your first pairing in flight number 2, that's going to be a tough one between TK, Tim Kading, and the 45 of Rusty Hickman.
Hey, Drake, just an update on the Dukas car. They're hoping they've just found a crook spark plug, so it could be the cheapest fix ever for the 98.
Oh, wouldn't that be good? Ado is tuned in from Blokes World. Great supporter of Aussie Sprint Car and Motorsport. And great to have him tuned in, the Underdogs show as well. Ado, great to have you tuned in on Clay Per View. And what the best TV show on the planet, Blokes World. Absolutely no doubt about it. And Duke, let's just hope, as you just made that point, it's a simple fix. Luke Dillon is down here with Matt Eagle. He's been sort of acting as a bit of a mentor on the 52 of Matt Eagle. He's got Luke Squires, or Lucy as he's known in the industry. He's getting into his LS side of things as well. Luke, surely you're not missing this, right?
I missed this bit. This looks fun, driving up against the wall on a nice smooth track.
Without having to work on the hot rod, TK up on the wall with Rusty Hickman, another guy that was born without a fear gland. And let's have a look at what we've got in our first up run for TK on the wall. First up time for the Californian. Or will it be Rusty? 12.185. Hickman 12.095. Quick time for Bendigo V45. Let's have a look at Kading. He goes quicker again. 12.073. Can Rusty improve? Yes, he can. 11.971. Rusty Hickman quick time.
2 former Classic winners make their way onto the Speedway. This one is a 3-time winner from St. Mary's, New South Wales in the SD Motorsport Infrastructure Development. Fennell Tires Gold Star Transport, Western Australia 95. It's the madman, Kerry Matson. Behind him from Adelaide, or excuse me, from Brisbane, Queensland, the GW Racing, Kaiser Wheels Castrol. Q5 is Brock Howlett, lap number 1 for Kerry Matson. Comes across, quick time at 11.734 for the madman. Howlett back in P2 at 11.960. Harry wall banging stuff going on here at Sun Gold Stadium. Lap number 2 for Matson. Slows to 11.750. Can Howlett take the top spot? No, he doesn't. Last lap at a 12.370. But how about it, race fans? For the madman, Kerry Matson, your new quick time qualifier at 11.734.
Heck of a marker from the madman there at the top of the tree after our first 4 qualifiers. Next car to take time will be the VA43, the Bill Storer Motors backed entry, that of Daniel Storer. And joining him on the circuit, the South Australia 3 from Adelaide, South Australia, it's Ben Morris. King Racing Products, Kart Magic also on board for Morris. Right upstairs in qualifying in flight number 2 of the Flying Horse Bar and Brewery Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic night number 1, Storer. Good enough for 5th quick with a 12.261 on his opening lap. Morris jumps to 2nd quick with 11.954. Can he improve? Storer does, but only in time. Still 5th quick with a 12.021. Morris, all eyes on him. No improvement on his 2nd lap. Remains 2nd fastest with 11.954.
Has the potential to surprise you on any night, does Ben Morris. Driving that SA3, that Morris Maxwell engine, singing a pretty song. Troy Hose on the raceway. Joined by Tasmanian Adam Alexander. Adam has certainly had his hands full each time we've seen him, but he's refused to give in. And Hosey has a bit of experience around these parts, whether it's in a speed car or a sprinter. 7th quick, 12.961. The Metro Auto Spares entry of Alexander comes in at 7th, 12.949. She's slicking off big time in turn 4 in particular. Hose will stay 8th, 12.961. Alexander pops in at 12.901, and you can visibly see the track starting to slick off big time in turn 4.
You're exactly right, Wade. It's going to give these drivers a heck of a challenge. Next group to come out. First one from Morwell in Victoria, the Bobby Daly Racing, Trains All Motors, Isuzu Trucks. Victorian 8, it's Bobby Daly. Behind him from Sydney, New South Wales, and the Adard Beckard Racing, PTG Logistics, Supreme Poultry, Hour of Power, New South Wales, 53, it's Alex Adard. Lap number 1 coming across right now for the former SRA Sprint Car champion, goes 7th fast, a 12.7 or 12.574. Adard 7th at a 12.363. They're fairly close together too. You got to imagine that could be affecting Adard. Lap number 2 for Daly is quicker at a 12.420. Adard improves to, or rather stays down in 7th. Lap at 12.637. So 7th and 8th, Adard and Daly.
Next car out, the Coab Industries Complete Parts and Equipment Solutions, Osmond's Transport, Blakefield Stock and Feed, New South Wales 78 machine, that of Kobe Wright, and joining him will be the New South Wales 16 machine of Daniel Sayer. Next pair out for qualifying in flight number 2, right up against the fence at SunGold Stadium. Right, lays in a 8th fastest time, gets bumped to spot now as Sayer jumps to position 7 with a 12.213, right, with a best time at 12.388. Improves on that though, goes back to 7th quick with a 12.086. Sayer jumps into 8th quick with a 12.134.
So currently it's Kerry Madsen, 11.73. Ben Morris, 11.95. Hallett, 11.96. Mount Gambier's Eastern Landscape Supplies. Clarence Transport, 11. Scott Endell, joined by the Lombard Transport, N36 out of Deniliquin in New South Wales. Out on the Hay Plains, Endell never get in, 12.439. Eddie through the middle. You wouldn't think that would be quick. He probably needs to be a little higher. Says 13.325 for Lumbar. Scott Endell improves a 12.439. Lumbar a 13.342 and a 13.325 is good enough for 14th.
Two ends of the spectrum when it comes to experience at this race. Rolling on the Speedway now in his maiden run in the Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic. From Auckland, New Zealand, in the Tony Elliott Foundation, Doric, Honest Abe Roofing, 1NZ. This is Max Guilford, and behind him, a former Classic Preland winner from Westbury in Tasmania, the Newlands Heavy Haulage PTS T62, it's Tate Frost. Lap number 1 coming across for the former New Zealand champion, goes to P2 at 11.799. Lap number 1 for Tate Frost is 6th quick, 11.982. Can Guilford go to P1 in his first Classic? No, he can't. Slower at 11.991. Lap number 2 for Tate Frost. Improves to P3 at 11.825. Guilford second, Frost third. The track still's got some juice in it.
Man, boys, you've got to be committed on that high groove to put down a quick lap there. Awesome run for Guilford and also Frost, second and third respectively. We'll see our next group of cars out for qualifying. The NS96 from Sydney, New South Wales. That's Brett Hobson. And joining him a lot closer to home in the Victoria 70 machine, Matty Simmons for High Ridge Contracting and Vogels Motors. Hobson about to put his first lap down. He goes to 14th quick with a 12.802. Smoke billowing from his car. Simmons trumps him with an 11th quick time of 12.298 for Matty Simmons. Can Hobson improve? Yes, he can on lap number 12 with a 12.392 to be 13th quick. Simmons stays 11th fastest with an improved lap on his second circulation at 12.195.
Couple of very quick hombres to round out this session. South Australian Mad Eagle, always up and about. They got some speed back in that Whyalla Earthworks Racing. Oh, Callum Williamson nailed the wall. twice in turn 3, scrubbed it. Eagle looks smooth in retrospect. He'll go to P2. 11.793. Can Cal Williamson save this? 13th on the opening skirmish. 12.334. Eagle, can he improve? He does not. 11.793. What about Williamson? Oh, Williamson only able to get to position 12.152. And you got to wonder, that first lap really hurt the overall situation. So well done, Kerry Madden. A tough run for Callum Williamson, but Matt Eagle looking racy in the 52. Come on, folks, put your hands together for Kerry Madsen. Quick time in flight 2.
Kerry Matson banks 200 points as he's your quickest in flight number 2 of qualifying for the Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic. And Kerry, you and I were talking earlier today. You can't really get too excited about things before qualifying goes well, and certainly the 2 heat races this evening. So I would say the first part of the job's done. Are you starting to get excited now about your chances of getting a prelim win here this evening?
I definitely make the prelim first will be our priority, but yeah, the car was great for that run. SD Motorsports, Sean's team just gave me a great race car and just sort of hit my marks, and I just wanted to do consistent laps. I feel like I had some more time, but still good enough for a quick time. But some guys got good quick at the end there, so that opened my eyes. But track's in great shape, so we'll see what happens.
That brings me to my next question. You watch Matt Eagle go P2 on his first lap of qualifying, and he's still obviously got one more to go. Where's the anxiety level when you see that first lap that Eagle posted?
Well, it's interesting because he had 96 on the left rear, and you're like, I'm not sure that's going to work, but it looked pretty good. So, you know, opens up some options, and we'll see. You know, obviously this track changes as the sun stays out and as the sun goes down. Sorry, so it's just a matter of making the right adjustments at the right time.
Kerry Matson's been on the podium both nights so far during Classic Week, during the President's Cup at Avalon Raceway, and the last night for the King's Challenge. And we'll take a look at Kerry's qualifying laps right here.
To see Madsen in that 95 machine right up against the fence in turns 1 and 2 one more time. Beneath the terrace, smooth as silk, if you don't mind, down the back straightaway. The madman, he fires his way onto that front straight. Reminiscent of his qualifying effort some years ago, Wade, in that all-orange machine, you may recall. Yes. The 29 car that was classic winning. He was right up against the fence that night as well. Wade, you're down in turn 4 at the moment, and you can get a really good look before they do a little bit of track grooming here, as opposed to kangaroo grooming, as we spoke about last night. But the cushion sort of is mid-corner there, and then as we've seen over the past few shows here, it just vaporizes to nothing on the entry to turn number 4.
Yeah, it kind of does, Millsy, and you can see the scuff marks, unfortunately, where Ryan Potts, I'm just literally halfway through that turn right near the Westvic scaffolding sign at the moment. You can kind of just get a look at where Potsy unfortunately tagged the wall just here, but it's where you see the cushion. It's fairly consistent right through here, right? So you got this build-up of what we call a cushion right here. So this is where you want to put that right rear if you got the Rundle Mauls to do that. You run all the way along here, but when you get to this spot just here, you can actually see the crash bar scrape against through the clay itself just there. When you work your way along, all of a sudden, all that disappears, Millsy. There's nothing to lean on. So from this spot right here, right the way through to where it starts to pick back up as well, that's the difference. So this spot here is the bit that challenges. You can lean on that corner coming in. Halfway through, vaporizing is an interesting word for it, Millsy, but it's a challenge. But as Jack Hewitt once said, if it was easy, no one would buy a ticket to the darn things.
I hope you check in on Fonzie down there, Wade, as Potsy went upstairs to visit a little bit earlier on.
Oh, wow. Which one of us is Ralph Mouth? I think I know that.
Put your hand up if you want to. W95, Kerry Madsen was quick time in flight number 2 at 11.734. Matt Eagle was second quick with an 11.793. Max Guilford, third fastest in flight 2 qualifying tonight, with thanks to Westvic Scaffolding with a 11.799. Tate Frost was 4th quick with 11.827. 5th fastest in flight number 2 was the South Australia 3 at Ben Morris with 11.954. 6th quick was the Q5 of Brock Hallett with an 11.960. 7th quick, the V45 of Rusty Hickman, also in that 11-second range with 11.971. Just outside the 11s, in 8th was the VA43 of Daniel Storer with a 12.021. Tim Kading, 9th quick, set pretty early in that flight, so interesting to see that time hung on somewhat with a 12.073. Kobe Wright was 10th quick with a 12.086. Outside of our top 10, position number 11 was the New South Wales 16 of Daniel Sayer with a 12.134. Callum Williamson recovered to be 12th quick with a 12.152. Matty Simmons was 13th fastest with a 12.195. Alex Attard 14th quick with a 12.363. Brett Hobson in the NS96 was 15th fastest with a 12.392, and Bobby Daly was behind him in position number 16 with a 12.420. Scott Endell's first lap was his best, a 12.439 to be 17th quick. Adam Alexander, his best lap was on lap number 2 with a 12.901. Troy Hose was 19th quick with a 12.961, and Eddie Lumbar 20th quick with a 13.325. And unfortunately, Ryan Potts made the highlight reel down there in turn number 4. To round out our qualifying for flight number 2, just a little bit of track work going on.
We're talking about the prize money up for grabs over the next couple of nights as well. Your preliminary A mains pay $10,000 to win. However, there's an extra incentive, and it's a very personal one for many of us in this situation, and kind of only came to my attention this afternoon. I must have been living under a rock in the last couple of weeks, and I feel really bad that I wasn't paying attention. So I want to catch up with Stu and Sade, who are here a little bit later on tonight. But Sade McCarthy has got a race for breast cancer awareness program going tonight on Christmas Eve this year. The McCarthys and the Bell Bowen family got the shock news that Sade had been diagnosed with an aggressive form of breast cancer. So typical of the Bowen family, the Bell Bowen family, and also the McCarthys, they've gotten right forward on the front foot with this, and they've come up with $5,000 to share across the 2 A mains and add an extra $2,500. All they have to be doing is running that really cool decal, which we're going to be seeing on every car if they're doing that. And I'm sure they will, Drake, because Sade is a very much loved figure. The Bell Bowens and the Bowens are extremely well loved, and Stu McCarthy, a local boy as well, that everybody would be really pulling for and offering their support. So Drake tonight and tomorrow night with our preliminary A mains, an extra $2,500. So $12,500 to win, thanks to Sade's race to beat breast cancer.
Yeah, and you want to talk about good families in sprint car racing. I'll share a personal story for me. Last year, I kind of halfway got trapped in Sydney, to be honest, and I kind of rang up Stu and Sade last minute. I said, hey, you know, I'm stuck here. I think I can get here. And before I could really ask the question, they said, come over to our house, sleep on the couch, do whatever you have to do. So really wishing Sade the best. I'm not sure if they made it here tonight, but I know they're planning on being here over the course of the weekend. That's good to hear. So looking forward to catching up with Stu and Sade. And yeah, you know, obviously wishing her the best. Like I said, just overall, one of the great families in not only sprint car racing, but dirt racing, motorsports as a whole.
We'll take a quick break and come back. Please keep an eye on your giant screen. This is the Talk Bench. We'll be spending a lot of time here over the next couple of nights. Welcome to the Flying Horse Bar and Brewery Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic here at SunGold Stadium, Premier Speedway, Warrnambool.
This is the big one. The City of Mount Gambier presents the 63rd SCCA Australian Sprint Car Championship at Borderline Speedway, Mount Gambier. James McFadden lays his title on the line against the best of the best in a field of 59 cars. It's the one they all want because they want the number one. The Australian Sprint Car Championship. BorderlineSpeedway.com.au. Action from 5 p.m. Friday night, January 30. Saturday night, January 31.